This is Short and Sweet, a series of video interviews by Tracy Metz and Sanne van der Beek from the Design Salone in Milan 2015. I'm here talking with Ben van Berkel of UNStudio about a design we see here which is something he has never done before. Ben, what is it?
It's a shoe. I've never designed a shoe before. I thought always to stay in the Alfa Alto range as a product designer. When I was studying product design, before I went into architecture, I've always believed that it is not so good to go into fashion. Although I've always talked about fashion design and that architects could be fashion designers of the future because we can dress the future, I always said. But here's a shoe. And the reason is simply because I got fascinated in the product and the way how they can be made today.
Rem D. Koolhaas of United Nude asked you to do this as part of a series by a number of famous architects and designers, and you couldn't resist. What did you do?
I couldn't resist simply because Rem D. Koolhaas is himself also an architect, or he studied architecture. He taught me a lot about what kind of materials who could be used for shoemaking, like 3D printing techniques. I knew, of course, but I didn't know that you could do so many new things with 3D printing. So I got highly fascinated in the idea of designing a shoe that goes beyond a little bit the traditional image of a shoe.
Can you walk on them?
Yeah, you can walk on them. But maybe, of course they're stable, luckily enough. It's maybe quite high, so they're more for the catwalk. They're prototypes, but you can walk on them.
Have you learned anything from designing your first shoe that you might use after this in architecture?
Yeah, there's so many ideas maybe connected to the things I'm already using in architecture, but I can transport them to another level, I think. The idea of that you can read many things in the shoe, maybe it's a lamp, maybe it's a horseshoe, maybe it could be a vase. So there are many things you could read in the shoe while you're not wearing it. So if you show this somewhere in the corner of your room, then you could get many interpretations of it. That was the idea also. But I've learned from the techniques and the way how, let's say, a very linear lamella-like kind of structure, what is in the shoe, how that can twist and turn, and I've always thought with the design of the shoe that it could be applied to a larger scale, of course, as well.
I'm very curious to see your next building.
Yeah.
This was Ben van Berkel for Short and Sweet.